from sea to shining sea and everywhere in between.
Wherever you are around the country.
This is America's Outdoor Talk program, Outdoors This Week. Outdoors This Week.
Get the kids, get the dog, get the cat. Sit them all down next to the radio. We are going to be talking about the great outdoors today.
And now, with America's latest news and talk on the great outdoors.
This is a dangerous place, man. You've got 1,000-pound bears wanting something that you have.
Here's your host, Alex Langer.
Why, thank you, Mr. Announcer. It is indeed I, Alex Langer, and today we have a very, very exciting show. For those of you who don't know who Tread Barta is, he is a modern-day Ernest Hemingway. He's a blue water fisherman, a rancher, hunter, television host, personality, prolific author, and he holds world records in both light water, saltwater fishing, and big game hunting. Now, Tread was a national fishing and hunting celebrity. In 2009, he suffered a debilitating spinal stroke, and he found out he had a rare blood cancer. He's paralyzed from the armpits down, but still continues to find ways to fish and hunt with a longbow the hardest way possible, and can still pull in 200-pound plus billfish. However, he has moved exclusively into the light tackle fishing now and is setting new records in that arena. He's learned how to snow ski again on a monoski. He has retrained his horse to carry him, and he scuba dives. His enthusiasm and zest for life are truly infectious. We know him as the irascible Tread Barta, but that's mostly just a front. He's very nice to Lynn. Whenever she calls him, she's got a story about how nice Tread was to her.
He's awesome.
And that's one of the reasons why we keep calling him. He's genuinely good people, and he gives us a good show. It's like you wind him up and you turn him on, and it's Tread. It's just Tread. He's got a wealth of knowledge about hunting. He's also a darn good fisherman. The fact that he's in a wheelchair, I think, can teach all of us something about life. About, he hasn't quit. I mean, he could have quit. No, he still fishes, he hunts. He bought a new condo in Isla Morada down in the Florida Keys. He's going to be my neighbor down there. So that's Tread. I mean, I don't know how many people buy a condo after they're paralyzed in a wheelchair, but Tread did it. To me, that's proof that it's not just a front. He lives the fantasy. He is the modern day Hemingway. I think that's enough. That's enough for me. Tread Barta is on the whole hour today, as well as all of our usual suspects. So stay with us, folks. We'll be right back with Tread Barta himself.
Outdoors This Week with Alex Langer.
Hi, folks. Ron Linder here for Linder's Angling Edge Television. Seen every Saturday afternoons on the Pursuit Channel or WFN, and at other times. You can also go up on the web, anglingedge.com, or you can go on any of the Facebook sites, Angling Edge Facebook or Ron Linder Facebook. I just got back from a tournament. I fished the Lake of the Woods tournament, and of course I did badly with my son Daniel. This is the first time I was up there in 14 years. I only practiced for 2 days, which I quickly learning. Now, we've won. 2 and 3 things are happening. And one of the things that you've got to understand is today, with the new electronic tools available to the angler, like these new maps, that Lake Master maps, that you could set up all the four-foot areas in red, and then you could mark off, let's say that you want to do the lip from 4 till 12 in green, and then from that lip on to a dark blue down to 25 feet. You could see exactly where these places are. The run around Lake of the Woods is, let me tell you something, in the old days when we were running out there with flashers, it was a white knuckle game, because you never knew for sure, and many a lower unit was taken off. Today, with the electronics that they have today, it is absolutely unbelievable. Gussie won the tournament, a good friend of ours. He does many shows. In fact, they're making a show up there right now with Gussie. He blew the tournament away. He had a 7-pound, 2-ounce largemouth bass, which for Lake of the Woods, Ontario, is quite a feat. That's a gigantic largemouth bass. He also had 4-pound smallmouth to round out his 5 fish. So 20 pounds a day is what it's taken up there. In the old days, years back when we first started going up there, first started fishing tournaments, a little over 3 pounds, 16-pound bags for 5 would win. 15 and a half, 16. Today, it don't work. A 15-pound bag may or may not cash you a check. And when I say a check, I mean a bottom-end check, not a good check. You may struggle into the bottom and pick up a couple if you get 15 and a half pounds every day. That's over a 3-pound average. And all of this, I've got to say, is what's responsible for this is the advancement in the electronics. It makes all the difference in the world. For us to run around a body of water that size and pick up these little corners and little edges, and that's all doing in Lake Master Maps. You punch in things, and you tell them you only, well, let's say for instance that you want to just look at the tops of 15-foot humps. You could do that. You mark the red because that keeps you off the rocks. So you put the rocks up to 4 foot. That's where the motor would kick out. And then there'd be a big gap, and the next thing would be 20-foot tops of sunken islands, and that's what you're looking for, and some of the deep fish. So you could do things with today's modern electronics that we only dreamed about in years past. And these young guys, these young tournament pros, they're all taking advantage. They all know how to do it. Everybody's got the equipment. The stuff that we used to do in years before. Let me tell Alex something. It's a new game out there. For old-timers like me, that you look and you say, wow, wowee. Well, that's it for now. Ron Linder checking out. And if you want to see more, go see us on anglingedge.com. And that's our website. Or Angling Edge Facebook or Ron Linder Facebook. See you later, folks.
Larry Whiteley and the Outdoor World Report are proudly brought to you by the brand new Rototail, the world's first and only plastic worm with a soft rotating spinner tail. The patented tail generates unbelievable vibration that you and the fish can actually feel just like a spinnerbait or a crankbait. See it at rototail.com. That's rototail.com.
Common mistake coming up on Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World.
Have you ever wanted to disappear into the woods? Have you ever wanted to tie your own flies, but never taken the time? Have you ever wanted to speak turkey? Then you belong at Bass Pro Shops. Every week, we offer free skills workshops to help you get started. See the store or go to BassPro.com for more information. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
A lot of bow hunters make a big mistake and don't even realize they're doing it. They do their scouting and find an area where the most deer seem to be traveling during best times and hang a stand right in the middle of it, thinking this will be their best chance for success. Sounds good, but the problem with it is if you hunt a location used by a lot of deer, no matter how hard you try, you're going to spook a lot of deer and they will quickly become wary and less likely to move during daylight at the times you're in the stand. You're much better off to hang a stand on the fringes of these areas where you know you can hunt undetected. It may take you longer to get your deer, but these stands will usually pay off and the deer in the area will continue to move naturally for much longer into the season. Now for more deer tips, watch Bass Pro Shops King of Bucks on the Outdoor Channel. Get out and enjoy all the great outdoors has to offer. I'm Larry Whiteley, and this is Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World.
Thanks a lot, Larry, and I'll be sure to watch King of Bucks. The real King of Bucks is none other than my next guest here. Tread Barta, if the name sounds familiar, he was a national television host on, most recently, the NBC Sports Channel. He is a modern-day Ernest Hemingway. He's a blue water fisherman, rancher, hunter, television host, personality, prolific author. I'm getting tired of reading this, Lynn. He holds world records in both light tackle, saltwater fishing, and big game hunting. Wow.
He's the man.
He is the man.
Yep.
Most recently, he had a spinal stroke. He ended up in a wheelchair. Now, most people that would stop dead in their tracks, but not Tread. Tread, I think, has been as active after being in a wheelchair as before. And he is irascible, and he is opinionated, and we love having him on the show. He's like our adopted, I don't know if it's big brother or little brother. I'm not sure which it is, Lynn. I better say big brother because I know he's listening.
Yeah.
First of all, Tread, welcome, 1,000 welcomes.
Good morning, Alex, and great to hear your voice. And I just want to say that when you were doing the ad about the vibration...
It's Rototail.
The Rototail. I mean, my wheels on my wheelchair started to tremble, and I had to put the brakes on. The vibrations were so unbelievable.
Yeah, Lynn, we got to send Tread a Rototail kit. Would you remind me to do that?
Yeah, wheelchair, paraplegic, T4, Asia A, Wiggletail. In the meantime, good morning. And
good morning, Tread. I have a question to ask you. Colorado has been in the news as of late.
Let me just tell you something.
Let me tell you something, Tread. You guys just got rid of your state Senate president in Colorado, didn't you? And it revolved around guns. Is that correct, Tread?
Let me tell you what's correct. Number one, the floods in Colorado are devastating. It is a monstrous 200-year proportion. People have lost their homes, their ranches, their livestock, and without any question whatsoever, anyone listening should pray for those inflicted. It's terrible, right. And much worse than what is being reported on the news.
There's nothing as bad as a flood. I mean, as terrible as fires are, a flood it's horrible.
Talking about the state has become ungodly liberal.
Right.
Just as New York.
It all happened after you moved in, Tread. Why is that?
Let's just get something straight. I just have under contract a condo in Isla Mirada, Florida.
I'll take that as a warning, Tread.
Yeah, you can't take it as a warning. And Andros Boatworks is making me a paraplegic 26-footer.
No kidding.
Which I can actually catch a marlin or sailfish by myself in my wheelchair.
We'll go together, Tread. You and me, Tread.
Are you inviting yourself?
I am.
Colorado has become unbelievably liberal, beyond to the point that it makes me puke. We are now celebrating gay marriage and gay rights. We are celebrating open sale of marijuana. I went to the dentist yesterday, and below the dentist shop is a marijuana sales company. We are extremely against gun laws and gun regulations, Second Amendment rights. Colorado is paying a huge price in people canceling hunts and not coming to Colorado. And the state is beautiful, the game is rich, and we are going downhill.
All right.
Now, that is my opinion.
Tread, hold on to that opinion, because we have to take a break, as all commercial programs do. But when we come back, you're going to have a chance to spew all of your knowledge. Notice I said knowledge and information to our vast audience, all right?
Oh, yeah. Let me stand by, and let me hold on to my wheelchair.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Don't change that dial. Alex will be right back with more of Outdoors This Week after these messages.
Wow! Woo. Hold on to that, and that's a good one, sister. Tight Lines with Sammy Lee.
He's the greatest bass angler of all time, and today he'll help you catch more fish. Hello, this is Sammy Lee. In just a moment, Rick Clun will talk about the correct mental attitude to have after a cold front passes through. But first, this message.
When it's time to pull out the hunting gear, it's time to make that trip to South Dakota's Cheyenne Ridge Signature Lodge. Thousands of acres, diverse habitat, and the greatest pheasant hunting you've ever seen. Hunt with professional guides, world-class flushing dogs, Beretta shotguns at no charge, and unlimited shells. And when you come in off the prairie, the luxury is just beginning. Cheyenne Ridge Signature Lodge. Worth the trip? See for yourself online at CheyenneRidge.com.
According to the man who's won 4 Bassmaster Classics, over $4 million in prize money during his professional bass tournament career, and was voted as the greatest bass angler of all time, Rick Clun, having the right mental attitude after a cold front passes through can catch more fish for you.
I usually try to pick whenever I know I'm going to get a real severe situation weather-wise, like a cold front. I'm not going to run like I would under good conditions, because I'm not trying to get a bunch of strikes. I'm only trying to get 5, so I'll pick my best area, and I become very thorough and very precise. And presentation is the whole key. To me, a cold front, all it does is shrink the strike zone of the fish. So all it means is if he's got a stump here and the fish on the day before the cold front run out there 3 and 4 foot to hit a lure, now he's not going to move at all. He's going to be under it. So all those casts, when you come back there the next day, won't do any good because you're still hitting a foot away, even a foot away or 2 foot away. He's not going to move to hit it like you did the day before. So now you've got to move in and drop it on his nose. And this is why flipping is such a tremendous technique under those circumstances. So that's basically what you do. You just become a lot more precise with your presentation. The fish is either going to, in a cold front situation, he's either going to drop deep or he's going to move into the thickest cover in the area. Mm-hmm. It's one of 2 things. The thing you've got to remember, even when you do the right thing, you're still not going to have what you think is success necessarily. But when you come in at the weigh-in, if you did the right thing, relatively you will have had success. And that's what's hard for people to make adjustments to.
And I agree, Rick Clunn, and well said. I'll be back with more Tight Lines after this.
Is this the biggest fishing breakthrough in decades?
It's a revolutionary lure that is the most versatile plastic worm I've ever fished with.
Ever see a plastic worm with a tail that spins 360 degrees like a spinner? How does it do that? Be amazed at rototail.com. That's rototail.com. This new plastic worm effortlessly goes through any weeds and thick cover.
The unique action created by the spinning tail, along with the versatility that you can use this lure, it's amazing.
It puts to shame ordinary plastic worms that either do nothing or just wag back and forth. The tail calls fish from long distances and telegraphs what it's doing back to your rod.
The vibration that you feel on your rod tip is amazing. I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams that a soft plastic spinner, you'd be able to feel the thumping as it comes back to you.
Makes a great gift.
I believe that the Rototail is the next generation of plastic worm.
See it work at rototail.com. That's rototail.com.
I'd like to thank legendary bass angler Rick Clunn for stopping by this week, and I hope that you've learned something from him. I know I certainly have. I'm Sammy Lee, and until next time, Tight Lines.
Tight Lines, brought to you by HuntMate, the ultimate hunting app for your iPhone. By UFP, America's leading maker of brake systems for boat trailers. And by Cheyenne Ridge Signature Lodge. Discover why our lodge earned 2 Beretta Tridents.
Thanks, Sammy Lee. And we have today with us the incomparable, the indomitable, the irascible Tread Barta. He just told me he got a condo in Islamorado. Amazingly, that's where Ernest Hemingway's boat, the Pilar, the sister boat to the original Pilar, is housed in the middle of the Bass Pro Shops auditorium there. So of all places that he would move to the place where they have Ernest Hemingway's old boat himself. Without any further ado, let's talk to Tread Barta. Tread, I know that you've had a big tragedy in Colorado. Are you near where the floods are?
No, I'm up in the mountains. Most of the tragedy has happened on the Front Range and on the eastern flats. So we, although received a lot of rain, we're okay. Let me just say one thing. I'm keeping my boat at Bass Pro Shops marina there, and I have a premium slip right next to the restaurant.
I got a name for the boat, Pilar 2. How about that?
Yeah, well, they're asking me to take the Pilar out and catch a fish by myself. Thinking about doing it. By the way, the Hemingway history of Islamorada did have a very large influence on why I'm moving there.
Really?
Let me give...
What is the Hemingway influence on Islamorada?
Well, Hemingway spent a lot of time in that area, and Hemingway also speaks and writes of Cuba and the Bahamas and Havana and his Key West, and the history is very rich in Hemingway. And,
right. Well, he's got the house in Key West that's a tourist attraction these days, and
big deal.
And
yeah.
his 6-toed cats are everywhere around Key West.
Well, I'm looking forward to the move, and I'm looking forward to the boat. I'd like to discuss just 2 quick tips for your audiences that I think we forget. Number 1, in hunting and all the technology in hunting today, if you keep the wind in your face, you're camouflaged with your face painted or covered, and you move slowly into the wind, there is no big game animal in the entire world that can smell upwind. And this very simple, basic technique works, and it will be 95% of your success, assuming you're not hunting downwind with a electronics bombing vapor barrier or something, or you're not emitting scents out of cans that disrupt the deer's nose, and 10,000 other technology issues. Wind in your face, fair chase, move slow, and you'll be successful.
Keep the wind in your face is one of your secrets, right?
Well, it's the secret to all big game hunting.
Right.
And why we try to do everything to eliminate it is beyond me. Wake up in the morning, you figure out where you're hunting, you get the wind right, and you go. Just a very simple, basic truth.
There's no money in identifying where the wind is coming from, or is there?
Oh, yeah. We got wind indicators, and we got flies, and we got electronic wind indicators. But you're right. There's no commercial money in telling the public a very simple thing.
Right.
And that's why when a grandfather takes his son out and teaches him these basic truths, you're a hunter. Right. In fishing, the best place to fish, whether it be trolling for blue marlin, white marlin, dorado, dolphin, any type of game fish, whether it be striped bass, bluefish, whether it be freshwater bass, crappies, is when your reel is making noise and when line is going off your reel. That's a good place to fish. And when you're looking for fish,
you got to watch where you step in streams also. You should only fish upstream, right?
Well, sometimes you need to fish downstream. You hear all about the techniques and this and that and everything else. The truth is, when fish are ready to eat, they eat. And presentation is extremely important. But I've caught 5 big-eye tuna, all over 250 pounds, trolling Hebrew national salamis with a 16-0 hook with Sports Illustrated on board, and they did a 5-page article.
What kind of mustard did you put on it?
I like the Goulin's, the working man's mustard. However, when fishing for bigger fish, sometimes I go with the gray poupon.
I was going to say that's a smart choice.
Now, also, as a hunter and fisherman, I mean, I know you know all about the great outdoors, Alex. I'm always blown away with your knowledge.
Well,
what do you call a rabbit that has a lot of lice?
I don't know.
Bugs Bunny.
Wow. That's the kind of wit that Tread Barta has. That's why we keep inviting him again and again and again. Tread, we got to take another break, but when you come back, I know you're going to wow my audience with insights and humor just like that. So, folks, stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the Tread Barta.
More of America's favorite outdoor talk program, Outdoors This Week, after these messages.
The Wade Bourne Report is brought to you by the original Alex Langer's Flying Lure. Hey, that's my lure! Hundreds of millions have been sold on TV worldwide for over 2 decades. It fishes itself and swims away from you on its own. Catches nearly every game fish that's ever swam. See it at flyinglure.com. That's flyinglure.com.
What's the greatest threat that hunters face in the woods? Wild animals, lightning, falling? Actually, the greatest threat is hypothermia, sudden cooling of the body's core temperature. Survival expert Wayne Fear says it doesn't have to be below freezing for hypothermia to set in. When it does, the victim is truly in danger. I'm Wade Bourne, and this is Wired to Hunt Radio. In a minute, Wayne shares tips on how to keep from becoming hypothermic in the upcoming hunting season.
Stay with us. Wade will be right back.
Planning to head outdoors today? The National Shooting Sports Foundation reminds you to check the fire danger levels in your area. Whether target shooting, camping, or even parking a car with a hot exhaust, remember to take precautions. If you're going shooting in dry conditions, minimize the possible risk of fire by not using steel-jacketed or steel core ammunition, tracer rounds, or exploding targets. As we know, wildfires have many possible causes. Don't be one of them.
Reliable, durable, and fun to shoot are just a few of the ways people describe their experiences with the M&P Pistol Series from Smith & Wesson. Available in multiple calibers and frame sizes, these lightweight, high-strength polymer pistols are fine-tuned machines both inside and out. Designed to meet the needs of law enforcement pros and recreational shooters alike, the M&P Series has you covered no matter your flavor. To learn more about the M&P Pistol Series, visit www.smith-wesson.com.
This is Wired to Hunt Radio.
Yesterday, survival expert Wayne Fear said hypothermia is a serious threat to hunters who head into backcountry. If they get wet and start chilling down, their situation can get dire in a hurry. Here's Wayne with more.
The first thing you got to do is take a look at the weather so they can be dressed for what is expected to be the weather when they're hunting. And I think every hunter should always carry some rain gear with him in his day pack, or if he's hunting pretty close to his truck or something, and keep that rain gear where he can get to it. Hypothermia is really a condition where you get wet, wind blows, you become a refrigerator, and it causes, even at higher temperatures, it causes your body temperature to go down. So having protection readily available from moisture, from rain, snow, whatever, is the first step. The next step is when you begin shivering, it's time to go home. Shivering is the body's first indication that it's becoming stressed due to cold. You're beginning to go into early stages of shock. And it's simply nature's way of saying, hey, you need to go somewhere and get warm.
So be aware of your situation. If you get wet and start shivering, find a place to warm up and dry out. Failure to do this can lead to deadly consequences. That's today's Wired to Hunt Radio. I'm Wade Bourne saying thanks for listening and get outside.
Wade, I'm shivering right now because Tread Barta is in the building. Tread is a modern-day Ernest Hemingway. He's an outdoor sportsman, a blue water fisherman, rancher, hunter. He's the whole darn package. And he's here with us today. Now, Tread, fishing for trout in a stream is more like hunting than fishing for tuna in the ocean. You got to watch yourself. You got to sneak up on the trout, just like you got to sneak up on the game. Would you agree with that? You said there are times you have to cast downriver. Tell me about those times. Shouldn't you cast upriver and then bring the fly down?
Oh, man. Alex.
Did I stump?
Let me rephrase the question. Everybody in the world, no matter where you're listening to this broadcast, does what is available to them. And if you don't have $1 trillion to travel all over the world every 5 minutes, what is in your backyard is what is available to you and what you do. In Colorado, we have some of the best brown trout and rainbow, brook trout, cutthroat fishing in the world. And it is an art of catching small fish on light line with dry flies or streamers or nymphing. And in many ways, it takes just as much skill as catching a blue marlin. Now, the fact that with the largest fish that you could catch in Colorado would make a perfect blue marlin bait, or that most of the saltwater species could drag backwards almost any freshwater species, is a different topic.
It is.
I think what you're trying to say is, does the skill level on each...
You got to sneak up on the fish just like you got to sneak up on the game.
Absolutely. Fly fishing in saltwater, especially for bonefish and permit, as well as trout, is 50% hunting and 50% fishing.
I agree.
And I think that's why so many people enjoy it. One of the things I hear all the time from people who spend a lot of time on the flat is that it's more like hunting than it is fishing. And that's what makes every single aspect of every sport in the outdoors worth doing.
Right. I think you're right. There's a lot of hunting. You got to know where they are, and you got to be precise.
But you know, any aspect of the outdoors, when taken to its highest level, is an art form and something which you appreciate. I'll give you a very simple example. In your area, hunting gray squirrels, to do it right with a .22 or an air rifle or a 410 shotgun, and to go out and move and know how to call them and when to sit and have the patience and come back with your limit of gray squirrels and to grace your table. By the way, gray squirrels are delicious, absolutely delicious.
You know, my dad took me hunting when I was a child for gray squirrel. I never forgot it. And it takes a lot of skill. I agree.
So, you know, one of the things, I don't believe that our economy is booming. I also believe there are a lot of people listening who are having a very hard time paying their bills. They've lost a lot of equity in their homes. We all know what a tragedy our country is going through. Yeah. Let me just say this. Captain Tread Barta endorses you hunting in your backyard, doing what you can afford, doing it the best that you can, bringing home the game, eating it, and living a very wholesome life. And that includes, by the way, going to church on Sunday and then going hunting after it. But I want to make the point is that each one of us does not only what is available to us, what we can afford, and what we can do. Keep in mind, everybody, I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, and there are many things that I didn't do because I had my legs, but now that I don't have my legs, I may hunt 5 hours in my driveway. By the way, it's in the middle of, in my driveway is what most people would call a wilderness trail. I may spend 5 hours trying to get one rabbit in my wheelchair, and that is a trophy.
Well, Tread, I hate to say it, but the show is over. Thank you for being on, and Lynn will call you again, all right?
Yeah, God bless this great country, and Alex, God bless you. You're doing a good job, and I mean it.
Thank you, Tread. I mean it, too. And God bless you, folks, and thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time on Outdoors This Week. Bye-bye.
Alex Langer, Outdoors This Week.